Hello, warriors. It's a beautiful autumn day here in Brussels. I don't know if you can see, but it's like really amazing and beautiful. All the leaves are turning brown, etc., etc., etc. And however, it's still shining. The sun is still shining. But I am scared shitless. And I'm scared because last year in the winter, my mixed episode, my major mental breakdown came. That was last winter. So for me, autumn means that winter is coming. And I'm scared, of course, because I'm traumatized of what happened last winter. And I don't know if it's related or not. I think yes. But I had a dream the other night. And in that dream, me and my father, who I am no contact with because he was abusive to me, narcissistically abusive, and I haven't seen him in 3 years, we were watching a movie. And at the end of the movie, he asks me, "Do you know the meaning of this film?" And I said no. And he said, "The meaning is that everything in your life that is unnecessary will eventually disintegrate and disappear." And at first, I interpreted this as a meaning related to my family. So, for years I was abused by my family. I first, quote unquote, got rid of my mother. I haven't seen my mother in 7 to 6 years. And then I cut contact with my dad. That was the hardest part. And eventually my grandparents and my brother. So they disintegrated and disappeared because they were unnecessary. They were harmful for my life. And after I cut contact with them, I actually flourished as a human being. And so I wanted to make this video about letting go, because then I realized that it's not just my family, and this doesn't just apply to that. This applies to so many other areas of our lives. For example, the job. We stay in jobs forever that we're not satisfied with, and they end up disintegrating and they have to disappear. It's like a burden that has to go away, and we know that it's disappearing. We know that it's going away, but still we don't want to face it. It's the same for a relationship, for example. Some people stay years in relationships that are abusive. They know that they're not happy. They know that the relationship is disintegrating, and then sometimes the other people ends up breaking up with them, and they're like, "Oh my God, like this took me by surprise." But no, it's not a surprise. The relationship was abusive. The relationship was falling apart. Some people maybe weren't having any sex for I don't know how long. So it's a bit like autumn. It disintegrates and it disappears. In autumn, the leaves, they fall from the trees, and then the fruits go to the ground, and then they get planted, and the seeds spread and they freeze, and then they come in the I'm stuttering a lot. In the spring. This must be because I don't know anything about biology. In the spring, and so I will not be afraid of the fall. I will not be afraid of the summer, of the winter, or of the autumn, because I know that it is necessary for trees and leaves to disintegrate and eventually disappear. And this is true for so many of us that have depression, because depression is a lot of anxiety, has a lot to do with the future and futurizing and being afraid of what's going on, what's going to go on with your life. But anxiety has a lot to do, depression has a lot to do with the past. So a lot of people get stuck on depression exactly because of a really, really hard breakup. I know that was my case in my first depression. And so this is especially true when we have depression. In my first depression, it was really, really hard for me to let go of my narcissistic ex. And also, maybe in my first depression, one thing that was holding me back was my relationship to my family, because they were making me even more depressed. And I was noticing that the days that I wouldn't talk to them during my recovery would actually be really good days. And sometimes I would actually have really good days during my recovery, and then I would come home and talk to them on Skype and feel like shit again. So these are the things that you have to let go. It's hard to let go because naturally human beings don't like change, but it's necessary for us to accept it. We only have one life, as they say, right? And if we don't let go of all these unnecessary things, then we can get stuck in situations for way longer than we should. And these situations are holding us back, and that's keeping us from being happy. So I personally bought a little pumpkin this year, and I put it on my desk, and I'm accepting that the autumn is coming. I am going on an autumn hike next week. That's what I'm doing. And I am I'm trying to be more acceptant after this dream. You know, if someone, for example, like one of the things also that hurt me sometimes is that my friends leave. Either because I'm from Brussels and this is a transitory city, so a lot of people just go away, or because some people leave my life because they leave my life, and that's really hurtful for me because I don't have a family. So I'm gonna try to work on that, on accepting that sometimes friendships deteriorate and they no longer serve me and they change, and that's okay. So what are you going to work on this autumn? Write it on the comments below, and I wish you happy healings.